Welcome back, you whiskey loving legends, to another episode of Was It Worth It Whiskey. And today we get to test the theory, or prove the theory, which is better. We're going to do a comparison of the Johnnie Walker Red Label and the Johnnie Walker Black Label and actually decide whether it's worth spending that extra $10 or 10 quid on a bottle of Johnnie Walker Black Label versus Johnnie Walker Red Label. Now, first up, we are going to do a comparison side by side, neat, straight up, and we'll go through their nose and their palate and their finish. Then we'll give them a score, a whiskey score out of 100 each. Then we're going to move on. We're going to test them as a mixer, and we're going to do a whiskey or ginger whiskey, and we're also going to do a whiskey and coke, and we're also going to see whether we can tell the difference between the Black Label and the Red Label. So without any further ado, let's get started. Now, so I remember, I'm going to make the red on my left and I'm going to make the black on my right. So we'll start off with the red. Okay. So the red has no age statement at all, meaning that because it's a Scotch whisky, right? It has to be a minimum of 3 years of age, but it could have 10-year-old whisky in it. It could have 20-year-old whisky. Probably doesn't, but it could have. Whereas our Black Label clearly has an age statement on it, being that of 12 years. Alright, first up, obviously the colour's the same, doesn't really matter. They've probably both been coloured, doesn't really make any difference. Starting with the red, the nose I get a light floral notes. We get a whack of honeysuckle, or maybe like a honeydew melon. The nose is very light nose. You get some of those alcohol notes as well, you know, saying it's a fairly young whiskey. In comparison, the nose on the Black Label, again, same, very similar. We get a very light floral notes, maybe with a touch of heather influence as well. A bit of pepper that the red didn't have, and a peppery honey note. So, all right. So the palate of the red. So it's definitely a young whiskey. You can taste that straight away. You get a little bit of heat in it, showing that youngness, that age. I get a vanilla. I get a bit of, how do I explain this note? Like corrugated brown cardboard, maybe. Peppery spice and some caramel. Yep, that's about it. Now the finish, I get a light spice. I get a slight throat burn on the finish as well, and you know, you can feel it heating up your belly a bit and showing that youngness into it again. But bloody hell, it's pretty bloody short, the finish. There's not much of finish. It goes into this short, bitter finish of kind of nothingness. Okay, so the Black Label. Okay, so again we get a bit of caramel on the Black Label. It's a bit smoother than the red. I mean, it should be, right? It's 12 years of age. And I get a bit of a burnt caramel. the finish, peppery spice on the finish, and then the same short bitter ending as well. Bit longer than the red, but not much at all. So on that, I'm going to give it a score for the red. I'm going to give it a 80 points for the nose for the red. I'm going to give it a 79 points for the palate on the red. And I'm going to give it a 74 points for the finish. Give us a grand total score for the red of 74 or 77 points. For the black label, I'm going to give a nose of 81 points, so just one more point than the red. I'm going to give a palate of 80 points and a finish of a 75 points, giving the grand total of 78 points for the black. So 77 points, 78 points. Okay, is that 1 point worth 10 quid or $10 extra? I don't know. But let's check what really counts, I guess, with these whiskies is a lot of people just use them for mixes, right? So let's test them now with some mixes. Now, first up, I think we're gonna go with the ginger whiskey or the whiskey ginger. So let's bring our ginger ale over here, move those aside. We've got our 2 cups, red label, black label, ginger. All right, nice reach. It's just a classic whiskey ginger. In the order to keep things the same, I'm going to use a measurer. I don't usually use a measurer, but so we have exactly the same. I will this time. Red label. Oh, that was a bit shitty. Put a bit more in. Did I spill that? Black label. Let's try not to spill this one. Not very good at measuring. Come on. And of course, whiskey ginger. Squeeze lemon. Okay. And a little bit of lemon slice there. All right. Now the question is, can I tell the difference? I don't think I will be able to, but we'll start with the red. Cheers. Oh, bloody nice drink, bud. Yeah, you know. Try the black label. You know, on the red label one, I can't taste the whiskey as much. On the black label, I can taste it. Let's try it again. There's a little bit more bitterness. Actually, if I was giving it to at a bar, couldn't tell the difference at all on the whiskey gingers. So let's put them aside, and we'll try the good old-fashioned whiskey and coke. Some ice. There we go. Now let's try and not spill it this time. I wouldn't make a very good bartender, I can tell you that. Oh, that's better. I'm getting the knack now. Red label. And some black label. And of course, last but not least, some Coke. Trying to get the mixes the same. And of course you have to make it pretty. So we'll put a little bit of lemon on there too. Red label, black label. Let's try the red label first. Contains some whiskey in it, for sure. It's okay though. Maybe I like the black label and the Coke a little bit better, but only a tad. So as a conclusion though, I think even if you're drinking this straight on ice, it's not worthwhile to me spend an extra $10 on the black label. Now 1 point different as we spoke about before. Well, we had 77 points versus 78 points, and 10 quid, $10 is a fair bit of money, right? Now definitely on the mixed drinks, from what I tasted, you can't taste any difference. I couldn't, if you're going to mix it, I can't see any reason in my mind why you would spend the extra 10 quid on the black label. From that, we'll finish with a finale of the Was It Worth It score for both of them. So on the Was It Worth It score, we do the quality of the whiskey versus the price and give a score 1 out of 10. If it's below 5, it's a thumbs down, we won't buy it again. If it's above 5, we could buy it again in whatever circumstance. The higher the number, the more likelihood we'll buy it again. So the red label. Now the red label is advertised as a mixer. Regardless, for 18 quid or 25 US or 30 Australian or whatever it is, I think it's a thumbs up, 6 out of 10. So I'd buy it again, especially if I wanted to mix or there was nothing else or it was all I could afford. I can't see why I wouldn't buy it. The black label. So the black label, like we talked about, is £26, 30 USD or 45 AUD. I cannot possibly justify that sort of money on the black label. I'm going to give it a 4 out of 10, which is the thumbs down. So guys and girls, hope you enjoyed. Hope if you're thinking about spending the extra money on the black label, this has cleared a few things up. Until next time, see you later. Cheers.